With the looming threat of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs, a Buy Canadian movement has picked up across the country. You may have noticed it when you go into grocery stores or supply shops, a tag that tells you if the product you're about to pick up is made in Canada.
This bullying, we're a tenth of the size of that country, 300 million or 400 million people in the States and about 40 million in Canada. But we picked no fight. But it just keeps coming to us.
As Canadians, I think we all have to support Canada with Team Canada, and right now that means avoiding American-made products.
It's kind of crazy. You don't hear of things like Walmart closing. Walmart.
There was a time when crossing the US-Canada border was a ritual, not a calculation. A Saturday morning drive to Buffalo, a stop at Walmart, lunch at a fast food chain, maybe a few extra bags for the trunk. Weekends bled into each other like that. Routine, familiar, and profitable. For years, American retailers counted on it. For years, Canadian shoppers came. But now, that ritual is breaking. With Donald Trump's latest tariff threats looming over everything from aluminum to agricultural exports, a quiet shift has taken root across Canada. It is not a boycott. There are no picket signs, no hashtags, just a soft but unmistakable retreat. In grocery stores, supply chains, and shopping carts, more and more Canadians are making the same decision: buy Canadian. It began with whispers, then with labels. Small tags placed beside ketchup bottles, snack bags, or shampoo bottles, proudly declaring "Made in Canada." Then slowly, the weekend crowds at border crossings began to thin. Parking lots, once crammed with Ontario plates, now sit half empty. Walmart supercenters that used to stay open late in Buffalo now close by 8 p.m. The Target in Blaine, Washington. It cut an entire part-time shift. Cross-border traffic isn't just slowing, it's disappearing. This is not a protest, it's a transformation. YouTube is not the biggest fan of content like this, but we believe people deserve to hear the truth. If you agree, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us beat the algorithm and keep going. We really appreciate the support.
The US and the UK has signed a tariff deal.
President Trump slapping a 20% tariff on all Vietnamese imports.
India-US trade talks, and the Trump administration is putting them on notice.
Donald Trump's desire for tariffs may only be surpassed by his love of a deal.
Tariffs go into effect August 1st, but the president is setting the rates and the deals right now.
And Canada's need for a stable arrangement with its largest trading partner.
I have a tariff concept, and Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it.
Mark Carney and Trump set a tight 30-day deadline at the G7 summit last month, already extended to August 1st under new threats of a 35% tariff from the U.S. president and old complaints about the flow of fentanyl and supply management for dairy products. Still, talks continue behind closed doors.
Anybody that thinks that, this will just pass over and we'll go back to, quote, normal, unquote, hasn't been paying attention for the last decade. Managed trade is the order of the day. What we did from the mid-1990s until 2017 is over. It's over, it's gone.
We're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act.
It's part of a bigger negotiation. It's something that we expected in the broader sense that would be part of a final deal. We're making progress towards a final deal. There's more to be done, to be clear.
One rooted in exhaustion and bruised dignity. One shaped by tariffs, currency gaps, bridge tolls, and rising tensions. And now, it is reshaping the border economy in ways no one in Erie County or Whatcom County planned for. The numbers tell the story. In the first 2 months of 2025, over 65,000 Canadian vehicles vanished from Buffalo-bound highways. Tolls at the Peace Bridge and Rainbow Bridge have collapsed to their lowest levels in years. Erie County's sales tax revenue dropped $4.9 million below projections by mid-February. At this pace, the county could see a $41 million shortfall by year-end. That is not a blip. That is a budget collapse. Roads will not be paved, libraries will not be funded, and there is no one to blame because the Canadian shoppers are not protesting. They are simply not coming. The ripple is wide. Gas stations that once served a steady churn of weekend traffic now sit vacant. Motels offering cross-border discounts report occupancy as low as 38%. Gift stands along I-190 have laid off night shifts. Even major retail anchors are feeling it. Walmart Canada, once playing defense, is now on offense. It has rolled out aggressive price cuts and national marketing campaigns, claiming savings of over $450 a year for the average family. Canadian grocery chains like Loblaw and Sobeys have frozen prices and launched loyalty programs to keep shoppers at home. And it is working. According to dunnhumby's consumer tracker, 71% of Canadians plan to reduce their US purchases in 2025. 1 in 4 say they are done with cross-border shopping entirely. Angus Reid data shows 78% of Canadians now consciously choose Canadian-made products. Nearly 60% say they avoid US-labeled goods. The shift is no longer anecdotal, it is national. This transformation reaches far beyond groceries. Tech and health retail are slipping. Apple products slapped with retaliatory tariffs have driven shoppers away from US electronics stores. Best Buy locations near Niagara have trimmed service hours. Amazon Canada reports a surge in domestic demand, with same-day deliveries doubling in Ontario and Quebec. Even Costco and Sam's Club are suffering. Swipe card data shows membership renewals among Canadians down nearly 12% at 5 major border locations. Executives are openly considering scaling back. For them, the profit math no longer works. Fast food is next. A study using MPD Group data shows McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King lost $350 million in Q1, most of it along the border. In contrast, Canadian chains like Mary Brown's and Freshie are rising. No duty, no exchange rate pain, no customs delays, just lunch. Even luxury retail has been hit. Trendex reports Canadian brands now outpacing Saks Fifth Avenue in sales per square foot. Local fashion labels are gaining ground, while stores like Gucci Niagara report weekend traffic down 60%. Staff are being rotated on week-long furloughs to avoid permanent layoffs. And beyond the headlines, there's a shift in sentiment. In interviews conducted by CBC and regional outlets, Canadians described a sense of being pushed aside by a neighbour they once trusted. "We didn't pick a fight," one Ontario shopper said, "but we sure feel like we're paying for one." This sentiment is being echoed in local politics. Municipal leaders in cities like Windsor and London have begun prioritising local procurement policies, favouring Canadian suppliers for school and municipal contracts. Chambers of Commerce are urging small businesses to stock Canadian-made goods. Some provinces are even considering tax incentives to support domestic sourcing. In Alberta and Saskatchewan, farmers are leaning into the movement, branding their produce not just as local but patriotic. At a recent agriculture fair in Regina, a booth displayed a sign that read, "Buy Canadian, feed our future." That message resonates in a country watching its southern neighbour weaponize economic policy. Meanwhile, back across the border, the economic toll mounts. In Erie County, tourism groups report that group travel bookings from Canada have dropped by over 30%. The Buffalo Niagara International Airport says Canadian-originating flights are down 22% year over year. Even sporting events are feeling the impact, with NHL games in Buffalo seeing lower Canadian attendance and weaker merchandise sales. The economic ecosystem built on Canadian consumer traffic is unraveling. Gas, food, hotels, electronics, apparel, travel, the entire scaffolding is starting to tremble. Local leaders admit they never thought this day would come. But now, with each passing week, it becomes clear that a return to the old normal is not guaranteed. And while US companies wait, Canadian retailers are pushing forward. Innovation is rising, loyalty programs are tightening, shoppers are staying. The very policies meant to protect US industries may have driven loyal Canadian customers permanently away. No press conference, no tariffs reversed, just a slow, strategic shift that continues to reshape how and where Canadians spend their money. With the cracks already visible in fast food and retail, other sectors may be next. Will cross-border auto sales decline? Will Canadians begin to seek medical treatment, insurance, or even college degrees closer to home? When a pattern of loyalty breaks, it rarely snaps back overnight. Let us know what you think in the comments. And do not forget to subscribe to Auto News and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest political economic updates.